So I really liked The Legend of Tarzan. In fact, I probably liked it a lot more than most other people did. And this is my top 5 ideas for what I would like to see in The Legend of Tarzan 2. And I really hope that you all will check out my Legend of Tarzan review so we can discuss the movie there. But there are some spoilers of The Legend of Tarzan in this video because, well, it's a top 5 idea and I have to talk some plot development from the first one in order to make this video make sense. So let's get right into it. So the first idea I have is to essentially develop Jane Porter more. David Yates did a very good job at directing the first Tarzan, but he didn't do a good job in giving Jane Porter the most interesting storyline. In fact, she was a damsel in distress to the point that Margot Robbie even said, like a damsel, when she was asked to scream by Christoph Waltz's character, and I have the name, Leon Rom. And honestly, I didn't like that. I just felt that her character was not so much shoehorned in, but she didn't develop, and it was boring. So Jane needs a chance to shine. Obviously, this is called The Legend of Tarzan. It's Tarzan's movie. But Minnie Driver's performance as Jane in the Tarzan animated movie, then Olivia Abbo's performance of Jane in the Tarzan animated series, and also the writing and directing of the Tarzan animated series and Tarzan movie is very, very good. And you essentially fall in love with the character of Jane Porter. So I really feel that Jane Porter in The Legend of Tarzan needs a lot more development. And at the end of the first movie, she became a mother. So hopefully, by having a son, she'll be able to, essentially kind of branch out of her character, because she was sort of stereotyped in the sense of being a damsel in distress, always looking out, always looking over her shoulder for the next creepy guy that wants to essentially do things to her. And I didn't like that. So Jane Porter needs major, major development. And I feel that they could add some humor to her. Like, they gave a little bit of humor to Alexander Skarsgård. They also gave some humor to Samuel L. Jackson's George Washington Williams. But I really feel that Jane needs to be comedic as well. That was one of the greatest things I loved about Jane Porter in the Tarzan animated movie by Disney, is she's funny, she's essentially kind of spunky, a little rebellious, she's intelligent, and I really feel that Warner Brothers needs to essentially mimic those traits and give them to Margot Robbie, because they need to keep Margot Robbie in this role, because Margot Robbie did do a fantastic job as Jane Porter. So honestly, if they can essentially make Jane like the deuteragonist and not make it Samuel L. Jackson's George Washington Williams, because essentially Jane was a minor character in the first movie, I think they'll have a really, really great sequel on their hand just by making Jane, Tarzan's right-hand person. So the next thing I want to see in this possible film is the advent of Queen Law. Now, Queen Law in the Tarzan franchise, I believe, was the Queen of Opar. In the Tarzan animated series, she had magic, and I feel that magic is where David Yates shines. David Yates, essentially, for all of these ideas, he needs to stay on as a director. That was kind of like my number 4.5. So David Yates needs to stay on as a director here, and I really feel that as a director who has done many fantasy films and doing another fantasy film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I think by incorporating Queen Law and having her be a mystical woman or an evil queen with dark magic allows for David Yates to really shine. I think he did very well with Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, with Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. All the Harry Potter movies he directed were fantastic. So I really feel that by bringing in magic into this franchise, making it a little bit more fantasy-like instead of live action, I guess like a live action, how do I describe it? Tarzan's not a fairy tale. I talked about that in my non-spoiler review, but it's sort of fairy tale based. So instead of making it like Tarzan come to life in real time, make it Tarzan fantasy, because I think fantasy works real well with David Yates. So Queen Law needs to be incorporated. Have the leopard men. The CGI of The Legend of Tarzan is so great. So I really feel they can make leopard men. They actually had the King of Opar in the first one. The King of Opar's flight with Tarzan was Tarzan killed his son because the Oparians, I guess, coat of arms essentially was you need to kill a gorilla in order to become a man in the tribe. And Tarzan's mother gets killed by the King of Opar's son. So I would love if they explore ancient Opar, somehow have Queen Law alive and, either feeding off African women, kind of like how Queen Ravana in Stolen the Huntsman did. And, she sees Tarzan. She wants a king. She wants to take over Africa. and she goes after Tarzan, and she goes after Jane. That way it would allow her both. Her goal would be to get Tarzan as her king, and then to get Jane out of the way. So it would allow for all three characters to be very well developed, and essentially my number one and number two idea intertwine pretty well. So I think Queen Law really needs to make an appearance in The Legend of Tarzan 2. Now, my third idea would not necessarily include Queen Law. It would be maybe like a third movie, but essentially when I do my top 5 ideas, it's essentially ideas that I would like Warner Brothers to somehow incorporate, but they don't need to incorporate all 5. So the third idea is to add pellicular, and I probably butchered how to say that. I have it spelled as Pellucida, so Paludicar is how I'm going to say it. So I think Paludicar needs to come into play as well. Paludicar in the Tarzan franchise is this ancient jungle where essentially dinosaurs live, and there's also ancient villagers as well. But I feel that adding dinosaurs would also be really cool. Again, give Tarzan that fantasy vibe, kind of sci-fi-ish, but at the same time keep it in the fantasy realm. Maybe, Queen Law is sort of known for dealing with cheetahs and whatnot, and Opar, so it wouldn't make sense for her to rule Paludicar. But I did say have Queen Law run a hidden village, and Paludicar is extremely hidden in the jungle. So maybe she's ruling Paludicar with an iron fist and controlling the dinosaurs as well that are down there. I really feel that Warner Brothers, because they have such a very strong visual effects department, could make some very, very convincing dinosaurs. Universal was able to do it in Jurassic World, so I think Warner Brothers can do it as well. So I think Paludicar would be a real interesting place to see. Now, we already have Opar in the first movie, so if they want Opar to be Opar where it is, but maybe just have Opar, make Law rule Paludicar. And that way, again, all 3 ideas will, be sequenced. But I think Tarzan could do well with an even bigger threat. Dealing with the apes was awesome. The lions are really cool in the movie, but I really feel that if you get some CGI dinosaurs in there, you're going to have like a real strong action, fantasy, sci-fi movie. And I really think that Warner Brothers will have a really fun property. Now, it seems a little bit of a mess, the way I just described it, and actually the way I'm talking about it, I thought, oh, wow, that's a bit more of a mess than I thought. But Tarzan has all of these great elements, so I really feel that the idea of Paludicar, another ancient city with ancient creatures, is awesome. I really hope that Warner Brothers goes in the route of either Queen Law or Paludicar. So my fourth idea is to have more of Tarzan's past. Now, one of my biggest gripes with the first film is it's very much set up in the way Once Upon a Time in Lost set up. I said that in my non-spoiler review. And what you essentially get is you get present, flashback, present, flashback, present, flashback. I'm actually almost 100% positive I did this in my last review as well, discussing Tarzan. And what we need here is to see the legend grow. Tarzan and Jane's relationship is sort of shoehorned at us. We accept it, but we don't know how they fell in love. We essentially see that Tarzan meets Jane, he protects her, but we don't really see they develop. During the Tarzan animated movie, we see Tarzan and Jane fall in love, granted through montage, but I really feel that they could flesh out Tarzan's past. A great way to open up a Tarzan 2 is to go right into the beginning, or obviously in the beginning, is go right into Tarzan's past after his mother died, how he mourns the death of his mother, and then show Jane and how he interacts with Jane after Jane saves him from getting beaten by one of the gorillas. So I really feel that we need to see more of Tarzan's past be extremely fleshed out here, because we know a little bit, but we don't know the full legend. And I really feel that in order to get the breadth of that legend, we really need the sequel. So I already said for my 4.5 idea, it was to keep David Yates on as director. I really feel that he would serve Tarzan well, particularly if he gets the ability to go into like the fantasy sci-fi genre. I just think that'll work well to his benefit. So honestly, the movie really needs David Yates, but I don't think they need Adam Cozart and Craig Brewer as writer and director. I really feel that they need to go into another with a different writer. As to who they want to write or who they want to use for writers, I'm not sure, but honestly, keep David Yates on, but really Warner Brothers needs to replace the writer and director. Samuel L. Jackson, again, 4.5 in this section. Samuel L. Jackson's George Washington Williams needs to return. Samuel L. Jackson did a fantastic job in the first one, and I would love to see his character come back in some capacity. The way the movie ended was, I said, Jane gave birth to a baby, and I really feel that, having the baby would be good for Jane's development. But I would love to see George Washington Williams come back to interact with Tarzan and Jane and even help them stop Queen Law or help them stop whoever is ruling Paludicar or however they want to do it. So he needs to return. So essentially, my last and final idea, and it's an idea that I kind of don't want, but I think I could see the WB doing this. Tarzan and Jane had a son, so the movie ends. The movie essentially ends with Tarzan, saving the African villages, and then it goes into Jane having the baby. We don't see the birth or anything, but we know that Jane has a baby. We see the baby being held at the end of the film. So the movie could do a little bit of time jump, maybe go 10 years into the future or whatnot. And I think it could also focus on Tarzan's son and see kind of how one legend one legend ending with Tarzan and one legend then beginning with his child, who I'm assuming is named John. I didn't hear the child's name at the end of the movie. So I think having a Tarzan develop, Tarzan and his son have an interesting relationship would be a good idea as well. And also to sort of slew in this, I would like, even if they focus on Tarzan and they focus on Jane and they give the son a little bit of information in the beginning, Tarzan, in the Legend of Tarzan, we didn't see any type of like snakes or any type of like serpent type creatures, and I really feel that having Tarzan and his son go against like a powerful like snake type creature as like a test would be pretty cool. So I would like to see Tarzan's son developed and have him and his father go on a quest for at least part of the film, at least the very beginning, maybe like the first 20 or so minutes after we get more of Tarzan's past. So those are my top 5 ideas. We need to develop Jane, we need to get Queen Law, we need to see Paludicar, we need more of Tarzan's past, and we need Tarzan and his son to have an effective and real relationship, and also in that subcategory, keep David Yates on as director, and also make sure Samuel L. Jackson returns to the film because he's really good in the movie, and I really, really suggest you see it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into my top 5 ideas for Tarzan 2 or Legend of Tarzan 2. I really feel that Warner Brothers needs to continue with this franchise because they have a lot with it. Tarzan's whole canon is huge. Edgar Rice went wild. No joke. No pun intended. He went wild with it, and I really feel that Warner Brothers can dive into these properties and give us a solid sequel, and I just really hope that the first film succeeds. All right, so thank you so much for tuning into my top 5 ideas for Tarzan 2 or Legend of Tarzan 2. Make sure to share your thoughts about my list in the comments below. Share your ideas for Tarzan in the comments below as well. And also make sure to check out the reviews so we can discuss the movie there and keep the sequel here. All right, guys. Bye.